Hello, hello, hola, hello, people. It is another episode of Binge Bitches. We had no new Housewives this week. So this week it's going to be just free pop culture grab bag. And speaking of a grab bag, my favorite grab bag, Gunther Vanderpump. How are you, baby?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I am just getting my life together. I've put in hours this week at the real office, like
Nice.
doing stuff that's supposed to like bring me income, so I'm not eating ramen noodles next week. So it has just been one of those moments for me. So, anyways, it's been good, but it's just I'm starting to get a little bit burnt out because I'm doing that, and then also trying to like sign petitions, trying to make donations where I can, and then we also have. I'll bring this up again later in the episode, but I'm working with Homestart, and so I've been trying to promote that a little bit too on some different networks. And Homestart is this organization here in San Diego, child abuse prevention services, women's rehabilitation, pregnant women, housing, and that sort of thing. So it's a really, really great, amazing fund. And so this is the third year that I've been working with them as their gala chair. And then all of a sudden the gala got canceled because COVID happened. So now we're trying to make up and end the financial year well and making sure that we still make their money. And so we've got some really good donors and things. And so right now I know on their website, so I'm just going to pop this up here for people at home-start.org. There is the virtual Blue Ribbon Extravaganza. It's been happening all week. You can keep on bidding on things until tomorrow. Gunther, there are like 40,000 Hawaii airline miles on there for like $700. Like that can get you round trip a couple times. I'm just saying.
Does that go to Hawaii?
Yeah, you could totally go to Hawaii. Like they have like a whole like trip, and so they have all these other like airline things. So I'm like really proud of like the people who've been putting that together over there, and I've been really happy to be part of that organization on the sidelines. So for a little while, and so that's been like what's been in my head this week, because I have to actually talk tomorrow on this virtual fundraiser. And I do this, like it's fine because I could just like say shit. But tomorrow I can't say shit because I'm talking to people trying to get them to help donate some more money. So I can't say shit.
Just say professional.
I'm going to say professional. I just said shit with their name up on the thing, but whatever. Okay. So we're doing pop culture grab bag today. There's no new Housewives. Did you watch the pop-up one? Did you watch the watch on?
When they were talking about it? No, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so they're boring.
Yeah.
It's just them like stroking each other's ego. They're like, remember that? Yeah, I remember that. I wear those shoes. Like, and I want those shoes.
I watched last week's when Dorit and Garcelle were watching the one with Dorit and the gold hair. But it didn't even seem like they were talking to each other. Like it was like they were talking about it separately. Like It didn't seem like it was all together, so it was weird.
It didn't seem like they were on the same thing or watching at the same time.
Yeah, and then like Dorit's son kept coming in. I was like, okay, this is dumb. Like
that's why I couldn't review it. They weren't filling any juice, and like you would get moments of Garcelle. She's like sitting there, and she'd be like. Kyle.
Yeah.
And like he'd be like, really, Garcelle, that's all you're gonna give us? You've been talking shit about her this whole time. And I don't think they're really friendly right now because she is still talking shit about her. But like was Garcelle on the Family Feud? I don't remember.
Yes, she was.
She was. And it was like her and Kyle like a birthday feud. That's the thing. They had no like real
well, they filmed that a while ago too. But I think they pretty much like it showed such a diverse cast too, and I think that's why she was there. I felt
it's and plus I mean she's a star, so whatever. It was cute. I thought if talking about like a little bit of like that whole. Did you watch the RuPaul Drag Race when they were on Family Feud as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So like that whole thing was like a lesson in like, okay, so is Steve Harvey going to say something really out of left field and have a moment, like that's gonna be like teachable. And it felt like the queens really handled themselves well. Like, let's make them nervous. Let's take it there, and we'll bring it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so I wish Raven would have.
I actually cried when I watched that because I was like, oh my God, I remember watching Family Feud as a child. And now it's like you have drag queens up there. And like when they did the queer eye guys, like both of those, I was like, you would have never saw this back in the day. It's just it's so nice to see something like that, to be representative or represent out there.
I wonder if that's like a record, because like they had 10 out gay men, or some people are non-binary on there, I think too, though, because I know that John is in it. But like you have like 10 LGBT folk all at the same time on a network television show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's freaking huge. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I was just hitting my footrest, and that's why my computer was just going back and back and back. So it's basically on my lap right now. Okay. So I think I was gonna ask you, like, what was the first Housewives that you actually watched? Just to be stupid, let's talk about that.
Jersey was the first one.
Oh, so you came a little bit later.
Yeah, I never watched the first seasons of. So I think it was Orange County, New York, Atlanta, and then Jersey. So I didn't. I was a late bloomer, and I'm like so obsessed with them. It's so weird that.
Have you went back and watched?
Not Orange County, but I watched the other ones. Orange County, I didn't start till like the third season.
We need to do a Cliff Notes episode of like Bitches where we can go back, because I think that like some of that first Orange County was just so monumental, and like she had like skin cancer issues and like had to like go away, and it was like a random time.
Yeah, it was really like I didn't like Orange County. Like I tried watching some of the old like the first season, and I was like, this is boring. Like,
that's why you need
I don't know. I felt like
it was a different show way back then. Like it was like
it was totally.
It was really like the first season of like Orange County was like supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a documentary on this little community called Coto de Casa, and it actually started. Vicky was #1 housewife, and so how Housewives started, it was her son. It was answering an ad, and they could do something because they wanted to be kind of like Princes of Malibu. Like remember that? Like right after like the OC and all that kind of stuff was coming out, and so this was like, okay, well, you know, we focus because they did, you know, OC came out, the OC, and then what was it, Laguna Beach? And so, and then there was like this hunger for like this part of the world. There was, I mean, like the OC is crazy. It's wild out. Look what's going on right now during the pandemic. Like they are another country. Like the OC is the Florida of California. And so, I mean, it really is. And so, changed my mind. I need one of those like little posters. The OC is the Florida of California. Yes, I'm sorry, honeys. That's what it is. So, but that being said, I'm trying to see if we have any comments on here right now. Nope, not right there. Right. So, that being said, like the very first season was really like trying to follow them around, and then you know the girls did know each other because like Lori worked for Vicky, and then there was like the girl Jo who was with Slade, you know, who now does karaoke in the OC. She hosts karaoke night. She really does. You can find her karaoke night. So she's one of the ones I trimmed recently off of the fat of my Instagram. But like, yeah, so it's kind of like where it started was like this supposed to be like this real documentary, and then it became, you know, the women started getting a little famous, a little bit more money, a little bit more stuff in the face, and it just blossomed. And then right off the heels of that came, was it New York right after?
I believe it was New York, then Atlanta, then Jersey.
Yes, that's what I believe as well. And so, and then New York kind of started up. And so speaking of like, New York was the one that made me fall in love. Like I watched the first season of OC, but it was like, And then, but when I went to New York, it was like I was living in New York at the time. So it was like, oh, there's these restaurants, and like this Bethany Frankel was this crappy one. And now I'm watching them again. So this has been like my quarantine, like relaxer. It's like, you know, a Xanax and like some Housewives in New York. I can cook up a meal. Okay. And so I've been rewatching them. And so did you start New York in the beginning, or did you come in late?
I believe I started that. I went back and watched it because, like I said, Jersey put me on the map, and then I went back and watched Atlanta and New York.
Yeah, because they're amazing. Atlanta is the best TV, and so is New York. New York is comedy, and like Atlanta is like real life dynasty. You know what I mean? Like it gives you a big over the top women. And the thing about New York and Atlanta too is that New York has like the effortless money. Like I'm wearing this old, you know, Ralph Lauren from 1962 that was handed down by Jackie F. You know what I mean? Like that's New York vibe. And then, but with Atlanta, it's always like these like cool bitches who always have fly clothes on. Wigs are always together. Like they've evolved too. Like, they're like Barbies now.
Totally.
Like I love watching them. Their whole union was all about boobies.
Yeah,
it was just boobs. It was like everybody wore white and boobs.
Yeah.
It was like they all had like the Kixie Vixen Styles breastplates on. Like everybody did. So to like film that, but yeah. So I've been watching some of those old ones. So when Nelson, when we do another episode with Nell, and I think there's Housewives not next week either. We have another week.
No. Still have 1 more week.
Okay. So maybe I'll be a little bit better because now I'm going to be able to handle work and my extracurriculars. And so I'll figure out, like, we should do like a cliff notes of like a couple episodes, like early classics. Maybe we should throw an OC in there because there was like maybe the one with the camera like spilled the whole drink on Gina and party. Like that's monumental. It's monumental TV.
Yes.
It's gay camp. Okay, I want to flip over. Let's talk about some Drag Race All-Stars. What is going on with Alexis Mateo?
She's a bully.
She did kind of, really, you know?
She's like totally changed. She like used to be so nice before, and now she's coming out with the big guns.
A favorite, like a fan favorite. Bam! Yeah. Look at this chorizo, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for you, baby. And like, yeah, she's become a little insufferable. Like the other night talking to a friend, and we were kind of like talking about it, and I think that Alexis Mateo might be top 3 material. Like I think that it might be I'm feeling my top 3 right now. This is no spoilers. I don't know nothing. Would be an Alexis Mateo situation, Shea Coulee all the way situation, and then a Jujubee. You know what I mean? Like
I love Jujubee.
Those 3. And what I love about it too is it's like you got Jujubee and Alexis who are like classic RuPaul's Drag Race. They made the show what it is now. Like those 2 girls were part of building this brand. And then Shea Coulee is a direct result of like what happened those early seasons with, I mean, Tyra, for whatever that's going on right now with Tyra. Have you been watching any of that? Tyra Sanchez?
Yeah.
Going online. Tyra kind of talking to herself via her real self and her character self. They talk online. Go look for it. Look on Tyra Sanchez's Instagram. People who are watching at home, like it is shocking. Or just do a Google and like you'll find these things. But Tyra was drag excellence. You know what I mean? That first season, she really did. You know, she came out. You know, that second season, and so you had Bibi Zahara Benet, and so that drag excellence filtered down and became like a Shea Coulee who just ran with it. And like, if it wasn't for the damn rose petals, that bitch would have had the crown. Like, and I like her music. I actually do. Like, she's a drag queen that I can like listen to some more song. Yeah. But who are your top 3? Who are you pulling?
A Jujubee, I'm rooting for Shea Coulee, and then I kind of like Ms. Cracker.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, I know she's like very into her head right now, but I feel like she can pull out what she needs to do to make top 3.
Can we talk about like reality shows and like pull back the velvet curtain for a second about this? Because one of my questions here is, do you think they edited that in such a way? Because the thing is Alexis said, you know what, I'm not, whatever, you know, she kind of like came swinging like, you don't think I'm the truth, or you don't think I'm good, or whatever that was, you know what I mean? Or you don't think I'm respectable. You don't think I'm you don't respect me. And so, and that kind of like came out of left field, and it came off as bullying. But do you think that production and editing really milked that because Cracker was the bad guy?
Yeah, because
Cracker
they need to make a bigger fight, because now that Derek's gone, that was like that quick fight. It was like one episode. Okay, now we're done. So now we need to make something else. So I feel like they're doing a really good job at it.
Yeah, but the thing is like, because Cracker hit the person that you don't punch Angina. Like, what did Angina do to you? Like, what did Angina do to anybody? Okay, you know, like she's just a little Angina. Little Angina is like Baby Groot / Baby Yoda. That's Angina. She fits on a shelf with those two characters, right? So you don't punch Baby Yoda, you don't punch Baby Groot, and you don't punch Angina. And that is exactly what Cracker did. And so I think to kind of make her the victim now and not the aggressor, they're going to milk this thing with Alexis, which might tell you they might be top 4. You know what I mean? Like
last week, I was ready for people's televisions to go flying out the window, because I thought Shay was gone. Like, I thought those bitches were gonna like get rid of her and be like, all right, another Manila thing. Here we go. And I was ready. I was actually shocked. I was so shocked.
I think if she goes home early, there might be riots. Like, yes. And I don't want to desensitize what is going on right now in the world, because that sounded really terrible. So do not leave us comments about the comment that I just made. It is not that way. Okay, so like, it's Pride Month. You should use a different word. People will be very angry, and they will be sending RuPaul death threats. That's what this fandom does. They're evil with these little boys. So, but yeah, and the thing was, like, I think Shea Coulee's overall concept was fantastic and fabulous and just everything you wanted it to be. I think there was a moment, like a little hair touch of a little crafty when they went up close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was like when the wings went, it was like, okay, pull the string, boing. Like, it wasn't like Courtney Act when her wings went. It was just like flawless and like beautiful and gorgeous. It was I didn't agree with that. I was like, oh. It was like,
and then you like saw where it was like tied on to the tubes. And so like there was like, and if you have a high def television, sorry, I'm privileged. But like you really see that stuff. And so the thing was, and I think that was, and then like the little cutout flowers here on the bustier.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that bustier, the original form of it, I have a feeling that was either like Chakra LA or it was probably Carrie Neat. Because those two really make amazing breast pieces and like these cosmic kind of things on shells. But it looked like they like glued on like Michael's flowers right here. And it was like, you know, so I get that part, but I don't think she was anywhere near deserved to be in like the bottom. Like that, you know, and that group did do the work. I mean, come on, that you parodied a comedy. It's not going to work unless you go completely balls to the wall, absurd, and like they could have done something with the fact that there's only 3 of them, you know, and then Shay used picture this, and it's like that's not a Dorothy line. That's a Sophia. Yeah. So it was a little bit of
with Mayhem and who was she with? Mayhem's group. Oh, Blair. Yeah. Blair. So I thought that was a little too Club 96.
Okay.
Like when they're like it was, like it reminded me of that. I'm like, that's all I kept on thinking about. And I'm like, ugh. Like it was a little too close to home for me.
It was, but they did execute very, very well. What would have made it better is if they would have pushed it over just a tiny bit, like push them jokes a little bit harder, and like instead of like, "Are you rich?" like, "Too bad you can't afford it." You know what I mean? Like, don't touch that. You know what I mean? Like when they walk, don't touch that. Don't touch that. It's expensive. Are you rich? You know what I mean? Like they could have heightened that up because it kept on, "Are you rich?" You know what I mean? And it was just so I don't know. And it could have been funny too if they would have put like tinfoil all over that bed and been like, "Sleep in your silver sheets. Aren't they comfortable?" You know what I mean? Like comfortable tinfoil sheets back with their silver. Like there was jokes left on the table. I think that they didn't take it as far. I think India Farah for that golden shower moment that didn't go anywhere. She should have went home. Like, so who did go home again?
Oh my God.
Somebody like. It's so bad. It was Blair, and Blair's grown up. She looks amazing. Oh my God, who went home? Huh?
Blair's like a whole different woman this time. Like she was like so like beautiful. Now she's coming out with this edgy side to her now, which I love.
She went from like Judy Garland, you know what I mean? Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down. Like she went from that, and now she's like, get it. Ooh, you know what I mean? Like she's more Britney essence than Derek is. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of that. It was Mariah Balenciaga. That's who went home. Right. Yes, and she's excellent. Like, yeah,
she's just pretty and all, but that's about it.
She doesn't put it on the shelf either. You know what I mean? It's like these girls take themselves here, and everybody's like, "You're fabulous, you're so amazing." Somebody needs to be like, "Okay, let's go up one more rung. Let's go up. Let's hit the next thing." And like, if you don't have somebody who's pushing you for that, you kind of stay there. And the thing is her charisma, her beauty, her professionalism is what has sustained her. You know what I mean? Like, she's a damn good queen. You know, she's a great queen, but she doesn't have that extra like Alaska, you know, that pop. You know what I mean? That's something that Vanjie, something that makes you like come back for more. And what are you gonna do next? You know what I mean? Like she doesn't have that kind of a brand. It feels like, and so, but. That being said, I saw her at like Ross's Bubbly Brunch, I think my birthday time, and like just fabulous. Like so good. Throw that money at her because she's so damn good. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else right now on that show that I'm just kind of like really, really feeling. I think it's funny though when they bring in some of these like guest stars and they're like so like awkward. Like Nicole Byer, you know that bitch is a fan. When RuPaul came out, she was like, like it was like full on like, oh, she's having convulsions. This is the moment, you know what I mean? Like I really love that. And then like, you know, what is her name? Madeline Beer or whatever.
Madison Beer, yeah.
She's just so like, she's happy to be there, but she has to tell you she's happy to be there because she couldn't tell.
Well, she was on one of the celebrity Drag Race too.
Yeah, and they didn't really push her out of a box. They should have patted her up on that. I was so mad. They just like your fish body and go out there. It was like, you guys put a wig on her head. That's all you guys did. So yeah, they didn't push her to an extreme where I think that they could have. And I think her fans would have eaten it up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And like when you do check her out on like Instagram, she got like millions and millions of people that know who she is. Even though we're old and we don't. I wonder if like these little like 16-year-olds are like, you know, is there Madeline? Is it Madeline or Meredith? And I'm old, and then she's young, so I don't need to know these girls' names. So, but anyways, Madison. But do you think like if you were like 16 years old, they were like, Madison? You know what I mean? Like
I mean, kind of like how we were with the Jonas Brothers.
I was never with Jonas Brothers. Who was I like that with? I was like that with Brandy. Brittany, I was like that. I was like that with but like Brittany was kind of when I was like, she was my age. So like I was excited to always see Brittany like 16 or whatever. But I think that like Brandy came out as like Moesha when she was like 13, 14 years old. And that's the shit that I was raised with. And so it was like, oh, don't you know my best friend? You know, do the good ones. And she would like show up on things and would like look for her everything. And that was before like you can like look up stuff on the internet. You couldn't really watch things. There was no YouTube or anything. You'd have to like schedule your TV times, make sure like, Mom, I have to watch Disney Channel at 6:30. Brandy is gonna sing one song, you know, for the Disney parade, like, and just like it's gonna happen. And like I would watch the whole damn parade, and this wouldn't happen to the end. So I think that was like my little entry there. Is that's who I was real excited for. It was stupid, but that's good. So I'm trying to think if I had like boys that I would do that ever for. Like if I had any boys that I was gaga for. I don't know.
Not me. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like start like looking for like the guy stuff until a little bit later.
I was never into like music when I was a kid either. Like I listened to it like on the radio, and my mom would listen to like soft rock. So like that's why I'm like a big Celine Dion fan. So like that's what I listened to. Nice.
Like, so let's talk about love. You were like bumping that. Yeah.
Like, I've been to like 5 Celine Dion concerts.
Really?
I'm obsessed.
I really want to go with you next time then, because I've never been to a Celine Dion.
Oh, so good.
She's one of the divas. Oh my god. Okay, so let's just talk about like random things, because this is what it's about. It's a random grab bag pop culture. By way of like divas, you know, like I've seen like a J-Lo, I've seen, you know, like some different people. Broadway though, I was just wondering about this in the car the other day, because I was listening to something and like Bernadette Peters came on, and then I had like a flashback moment because I got to see Bernadette Peters in Hello Dolly recently, and so she was filling in for Bette Midler during, you know, her hiatus. Oh, yeah. And I had a moment with Bernadette Peters, and it was like, oh, so she came out at the beginning of Hello Dolly, and it's like, oh, that's Bernadette Peters, you know, and like, and she's playing opposite Victor Garber, who is still like a daddy who can still get it on a good day. But yeah. So like, and they had this moment too where Bernadette Peters, there's a cane little exchange to do with like a walking cane, and she goes to throw it towards him, and he didn't catch it, and it fell into the pit and hit the conductor. Okay, so she was like, "Oh!" And the way that she got this out of the freaking pit, like a pro, like she like waddled up to it, like her boobs are out, you know. She like shakes her boobs to things. She's like, "Can I please have that, dear?" And like she took it back up through her boobs like, from the pit. It was like improv, like, and it was like this. That's a legend, Bernadette Peters, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. And so, and then at the, and then where, you know, the big number for, you know, Hello Dolly when she's at the top of the stairs with the red dress.
Yes.
Okay. I went, so she like appears and I went, and like one tear came out of my eye. Like it was like one tear. Like I had like a moment of like, if I breathe or if I say anything, I know I will just start bawling. So it was like, and we were in like, I want to say like the third row. We got tickets that day, center stage. It was beautiful. We got like out of this world. And I just remember like her standing at the top of the thing. I'm like looking directly at her. She's on the stairs. And I went, and then at one tear just like rolled down. I was like, oh my god, it's a legend. Like, so have you seen
everyone behind you is like gay?
Well, everybody in the audience was like, me too. Like I look around, everybody's glistening. Like, it's happening, you guys, it's happening. So it was amazing. Who have you seen? Have you seen anybody like big, like on Broadway, like live?
On Broadway? Well, Erica Jane, duh, in Chicago.
Did you got in the front row with her t-shirt on?
They picked me. I gotta think. I mean, I've seen like people at the Globe, like Marion Ross. I've seen her there.
Nice. So what other divas have you seen? Like you've seen Celine Dion. So what have you seen?
I've seen J-Lo. I saw J-Lo. I've seen Celine. That's about it. I'm not a big concert person either. I don't like concerts. My first concert was Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh my God. That's why you don't like concerts. Ugh. My first concert was Christian concerts. We went to Christian ones when I was a kid. And so we would go see, like, there was a Christian artist named Carmen who was like this Italian daddy who would tell you you're going to hell, but like in a nice way because he'd sing it to you, you know?
You're like, yes.
Yeah. And so that and like DC Talk, you know, like the Christian band. And so those are like my first concerts, but I think my very first like real concert was Ricky Martin. Like living La Vida Loca tour. I went with my friends in high school. We took our Puerto Rico flags, and then they stopped us because we were brown, and they took the sticks away from us and told us we could take the flag. Like they're like, okay, give us your stick. And like the one lady like took the flag and she like ripped it off like the stick, handed us back the flag and was like, we're keeping this. You can go inside now. It's like we weren't gonna stab somebody or anything. Like, what is going on? So there was me seeing Ricky Martin being like, oh yeah, I love his blonde backup dancer. Not looking at Ricky Martin. This is when he was in the closet too. So it was like we had a moment. We had floor seats, and I was like, "Hey, you, me, we're both gay, right? Yep, okay." So that was my first like concert. So, but I need to see Celine Dion. Damn it! And this year would have been my chance because she was like, she was coming up. Like she was becoming like 2 weeks into COVID.
I saw her. So I just recently saw her last January in Vegas.
Nice.
I took my roommate for Christmas. That was his Christmas present because he likes Celine too. We went. Is
it still a like or was it still like mixed in with like a little Cirque du Soleil, or is it just her now on stage? Like,
no, it was her. Like basically just performing. She had dancers and stuff like that, but no like acrobatics and shit. Like it was just a good some Celine Dion concert.
Very Mariah Carey. Like I have a catalog of songs. I'm gonna just sing them for you. Sing along. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was a little drunk too, so I was like singing at the top of my lungs. People around me probably hated me.
Yeah, probably. That's like so funny. No, I haven't. Yeah, I want to say that it was. I saw J-Lo. Who else have I seen? I have Whitney Houston stories. Okay, so here's one. We're gonna talk out of school. Okay, so I have a good friend who. Okay, this comes from the hotel world. Okay, and so high-end hotels and that sort of thing. So we have a friend. I don't want to leave too many breadcrumbs here. So let's see if I can do this without mentioning names or real places. Okay. So, because this person might want to make a book out of this. Okay. So Whitney Houston. So this one friend was a concierge at a hotel in Atlanta. And so this is one day he is sitting at his desk and he's looking out the window and he sees there's this woman in a crazy fur coat and like a crazy, like her wig is a little bit askew. He doesn't think anything of it. She's just walking outside. And then this lady, 5 minutes later, is in front of his concierge stand. And she goes, I need to get a room. And he was like, oh, okay, so I need your ID. And he looks up at her and it is Whitney Houston. And Whitney is looking down at him and he's looking back at her. And he's like, oh, okay. So Miss Houston, she was like, listen, I don't have any of my stuff on me. Here's my credit card number. He proceeds to give him his credit, all 16 digits. just fly right out of her mouth. Here's my expiration date. So he walks her a room, and she's a little bit frantic. And there's a moment where she's up and she walks away and she meets this guy at the door and she comes back. And she's standing there and he just stops and he's like checking her in. He's like, okay, so Whitney, we'll have this room with Houston, blah, blah, blah. And he just looks at her and he goes, Miss Houston, how are you doing today? And she looks back at him and she goes, girl, my life is crazy right now. So that was their exchange. And so takes her up, hand holds her to go up to the room and everything. And so takes her up there. Later on that evening, he goes home. This is before, this is when we still had sidekicks. This is a long time ago. This is before iPhones, okay? So he gets home and he's watching the news and he sees on the news, Whitney Houston escaped from rehab. And he was a person who checked her into the hotel that she went to.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to Google on the hotels and everything else, but I hope he doesn't work there anymore. But the thing is, that was a whole thing. And so it was just the stuff that you hear when you work for hotels and know people and concierge, that sort of thing. And you're hey, I got told this story and my mouth was what? Whitney Houston with a wig like this and a fur coat? Can I get a robe? But girl, my life is crazy right now. So it's funny though, because I have this friend, I still say this, quite often when we're at the same place. We'll be like, girl, my life is crazy right now. It's the thing we share. But that was a Whitney Houston moment. So a Whitney Houston moment brought to you by Binge Bitches. Ding! Okay, so anyways, let's skip around. I think Nelson just texted me. So
he said next week.
Next week we'll be back. So you guys, Nelson, not her, won't be here this week. So that's a soundbite, and I'm gonna leave it on her. Okay, so let's keep on talking. So let's talk about what are you binging? What have you been watching lately? What's been on your mind?
Well, I finished The Politician, love Victor. And now I'm on 13 Reasons Why, which is amazing.
So you're very emo, and
yeah. I'm no, you don't understand. I'm sitting here watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, what is wrong with my life right now? Yeah.
Okay, without giving away plot points, because I want to know what is the big deal about 13 Reasons Why? Because it's something that I watched half the first episode, and I was like, this isn't for me. And I turned it off. Why?
I mean, everyone knows the story. A girl kills herself, and then it just goes through the reasons why she did it. All these people in her life had a part in why she decided to do it, and that's why. I go back and I think when I was in high school, and I'm like, God, I was a bully to some people, but then I was bullied too. We all bullied each other. I was called gay, but then I would pick on people to fit in with the popular kids. And it's just nowadays, it's just awful because there's so much on social media where you're you can't control it. But a lot of this, she was called girls are called a slut, if they're having sex, and it goes with these jocks that are these gods, and it was like that when I was in high school. The jocks were gods and the theater geeks were nothing, and they were picked on, and it's really weird. I thought about killing myself when I was in high school. Yes, a lot of people have. It's just something that crosses your mind, but you have friends in your life that get you through it. And I mean, even in college, I thought about killing myself. It was why? What's the sense? I'm not happy with my life, but then now it's I'm so glad I didn't, because I love my life now.
So do you think what is this show How has it lasted 3 seasons? What is it a developing story?
There's 4 seasons, and I think
so much to watch.
I think what keeps it going is it's helping kids have a platform to talk about things with their parents. or even talk to a counselor at school. Like, it's bringing up a lot of like reasons, like don't hide what you're going through. Like, talk about it. Here's a platform. Like, I actually, like, I think all kids should watch the show. Like, I'm obsessed with it, and the kids in it are amazing. The one mother of the girl that killed herself is I don't know her real name, but she played Madison, I think, and Grey's Anatomy, the red hair girl, red hair lady. I don't know what her name is, but she's amazing at that.
Kate Walsh, right?
Kate Walsh. There we go. Yeah.
So I need to check it out. Like, it just kind of felt like, oh, I don't know, the music was very heavy, and so maybe I will return. I will kind of go back into it.
I just started the third season. I'm like literally third season. I'm obsessed with it.
So now you have like another good season and a half left for you.
Yeah, and they're like a full hour too. Like, I've been watching it nonstop.
So these are for the week.
I'll be done by Sunday.
It really is that way. I've been watching like random like movies, and so wait, what was the second thing you said you were watching? You watched
Love Victor and The Politician.
Okay, so The Politician, I watched all in one, and then now I'm interviewing it with my partner because like he's never seen it, and so we're making the point to like watch that. So we've been doing that, but I'm starting at the beginning again. So I'll see when I finish that show. It's gonna be a minute, and so
season 2 is so different than season 1 of The Politician. It's like night and day. Like, I actually like season 2 is like literally Ben Midler and Judith Light. It's like their show. Like, and they're amazing in it.
Okay, so then I'm excited. Yeah. Maybe I'll watch it like at night when he goes to sleep. I'll binge it. People know.
I like watched it in one day.
I'm like very Phoebe. This is brand new information. The whole time. We just finished Glow, actually. So have you watched?
I watched the first season, not the whole thing, but then I just fell out of it.
Well, it's getting its fourth season, so I know that it's coming. The fourth season's coming out this summer, and it's the final one. So because all the girls, they can't sustain these girls because they're all stars now. You know what I mean? Like, bigger than they were. And so, but I really liked where that went. Mark Maron is weirdly sexy, man. Like, Mark Maron is one of those people that you're like, oh, I would so do this. It's such a weird moment there, but so I've been loving that. There's a show on Apple Plus that I watched recently, or still in the middle of it. It's the called Servant. So
what is that?
It's called Servant, like you know, like the Servant. It's called The Servant, and it's on Apple Plus, and it's an M. Night Shyamalan TV show. And so it's been in there for a little while, and it just seems like Apple doesn't really push their Apple Plus very hard. They only push like, you know, Central Park and like the morning show, but they have some really good content on there. And so, and this Servant is like, I'm probably like in season, like episode 6 of 10. And it's M. Night Shyamalan wrapping himself up. You know what I mean? Like how he like puts together these stories, and it starts to get weirder and weirder, and you start to creep out. And so I'm like hitting peak creep out right now. And so, and like, long story short, so the first is essentially this husband and wife, they have somebody that is that they've hired to take care of the baby. And he's a chef. She is an anchor for the news. And so I want to say they live in like New York or Chicago, like city, urban life, you know, live in brownstone kind of situation. Ideal dark kitchen, you know, very, very Nancy Myers black. Like everything is, you know, it's and it's done the M. Night Shyamalan thing where like you don't get much light in what you want. If you like, you know, so you kind of have to watch the shadows. And so there's this girl who comes to take care of the baby, and she's a little bit weird. And I don't want to give away too much. You should watch like the first episode because it starts to lay everything in. But the baby dies, and so like I don't want to give up more than that. She's the servant, you know what I mean? So like, what is going to happen with this? So, and it's right now. It's kind of like taking on a wild goose chase. And there's this thing where like there's scenes where somebody is in another location and they're watching everything via phone. Like he's like on a FaceTime call and he's like, okay, so I'm at the house right now and you're watching FaceTime. And so you're like, something's gonna pop out because he's on FaceTime. So you watch it like this the whole time. Completely like, wrapped up into yourself. Like, oh no. So like Servants on Apple TV is pretty good so far. I'm probably gonna be real upset next week. After I watch episode number 10, I'm gonna be pissed. I know I am, because it's M. Night Shyamalan. And you know, like he does this thing to you where M. Night like gives you like this wonderful stuff, and then all of a sudden, like The Village, you're like, oh, I'm scared of the beast. I'm scared of this and that. And at the end of it, it's like Truman Show. Like, oh, let's go behind the fence. You know what I mean? Like, see you later, Bryce Dallas Howard. I talk about Bryce Dallas Howard so much on Binge Bitches. Okay, anyways.
I love her.
She's been a topic so much lately. Like on we talked about her the whole entire Mandalorian episode recently, like for Star Wars. She directed one episode, so we talked about her all the time.
Oh, I was like, is she in it?
No, I'm fascinated by her, and I don't know why. I'm gonna have to like read her bio when it comes out. Okay, so there's a new thing too over on Netflix right now that I want to say that I'm like loving, and that's have you seen Disclosure? Have you watched that?
The Closure? No.
Disclosure.
Disclosure? No.
Yeah, like disclosure as in like when you're trans and you have to disclose your status, you know what I mean? That you're the fact that you are trans, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a special, it's part of the Black Lives Matter collection on Netflix. And it's produced by Laverne Cox, and she's like one of the main commentators, talking heads on it. Uh-huh. And everybody who is talking on it is trans. So it's all trans men, trans women who are telling their story of how trans representation has been in the media and how it's been in television and how it's used to propel things and propel people's careers and whatnot. And how it's also been very divisive of how people treat trans people and with anger when they get revealed and that kind of thing. It's incredible, girl. It's an hour, 45 minutes or something like that. It's an easy watch. There's moments in it too where you get emotional. Like you're like, oh, and they go back all the way to like silent pictures, the first moving pictures were men dressed as women and like trans identity back then, and it kind of just perpetuates. And then, you know, the whole thing with the crying game after he, you know, reveals the reveal in the crying game. So they talk about that. They talk about Pose. They touch on Dirty Sexy Money. They talk about Candace Cain, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so it's fascinating. And it, like when you watch it, you're like, Candace Cain deserves so much more respect than people give her. Like, why isn't Candace Cain treated like the legend icon that she is? Like, come on. Like, she really did. She's done some good shit, man.
Yeah. But yeah. She was before, like, Laverne Cox. Like, she's been, like, in so many... Like, what was that one movie or that one TV show she was in? You said it. Dirty Sexy Money, right?
Yeah, Dirty Sexy Money.
Yeah. Like, she was so good at that.
She talks about this in the and so spoiler, I'm gonna give away a story. She's told it before, so whatever. Because I think she even told it on I Am Kate. That's also interesting too when they bring that up. But she talks about the very first episode was, you know, how we gays celebrate, and you know, we're gonna have a watch party. So they had a big watch party at a bar, and everybody goes around and kikiing, and oh my God, Candace is on TV. She's on this news show. It's the first premiere episode. Billy Baldwin. It was like a big deal, you know. And she first comes on the screen, and everybody's screaming for her, Candace, and then she says her first line. And the editors to drive home the point that she was trans, they lowered her vocal octave in the editing by like 2 octaves. So it was more like, yeah, let's go. And like it was more like a man, and they did that to drive it home. And she said that like when they're watching it and this like watching it, everybody's like, ah. And she said like because like they heard it, you know what I mean? It was like, look what they did. And then it was, she mentioned, you know, thank God that she and Billy Baldwin had really good chemistry and that they got along so well, you know, that they kept bringing her back, and so they fleshed out her story, and she had a real trans story that was like, you know, dynamic.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something. They tell that story. They who did we just bring up a second ago? We were just I said that we would come back to it. Oh my God, dead air, so good for a TV show. It was, but anyways, so like Laverne Cox, yeah, we talk about Laverne Cox on Orange Is the New Black, and like how she kind of, her and Carmen Carrera are kind of like leading this charge of the new identity of these trans women who aren't taking shit when they're sitting down. You're not going to make it all about, you're not going to make it about my body. You're going to make it about my story, you know, that kind of thing. And so, and like how there's so much that is you know, pushed on upon, like, you know, in that way. It's fabulous. I tell everybody, watch Disclosure. It's
I'll have to check it out.
There's something, okay, so my own ignorance, I didn't know. Okay, so you know the Brandon Tina story that was Boys Don't Cry with Hilary Swank? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Chloe Sevigny, who I love, because Draghi does things. But, so that story is tragic in its way, but there's Black erasure in the story that's really sad that they don't put it in, and it's like, you know, that these stories couldn't have been told simultaneously. Is that there was an African American man, and I'm so sorry I do not know his name, so it's no disrespect to this person's life and legacy, but in Boys Don't Cry, they don't portray that in the other room while he was killing, while the killers were killing Brandon when they were being shot, there was another guy in the other room who tried to help, and he was a Black guy who they killed him as well. And you've never heard that story. There's a whole story there that Hollywood kind of erased, and they just made it about the white characters, and they completely erased the Black. And it's like, you know, Hollywood doesn't want to give Black trans women their due, and it's making them always to be like, there's a secret to tell, and, you know, making that such a, you know, a villainous thing that it's nobody's business. You know, you go to work, show up at work, and that's it. And you just identify, and why do you have to have more of a story? Why does somebody have to tell you what their original name was, what their body's like? It's none of your business. You take what's presented towards you. And so this show really opened up my eyes to a lot of that, and kind of some of the stuff that we take for granted in TV and movies. And so, and then one of the nice points too that they kind of bring up that some of these talking heads and some of these trans activists, you know, these people who are living in their truth and their power and everything. And as they're talking, there's just this thing at the end, and it's just kind of like, you know, yes, the Hollywood system has been so flawed, but there's been this really good thing. There's been a return on, you know, they got to see themselves still. You got to see something represented out there that was telling you, oh my God, I felt like this inside. Something's not right. It's not connecting. And so that's a nice little takeaway from this. But it's powerful. I would say everybody should watch Disclosure. It's one of those. It's must require viewing, especially during Pride Month. I mean, come on, people. Yeah. So the Love Victor thing, I have not watched it yet, and so I may come back.
You watched Love Simon?
Yes. And so, and I did cry for Love Simon, whatever.
I think we all did.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the ideal story. Like it's the story that we all wanted. It's that fairy tale, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the great things that it is. And it's also a great thing for what it could be. You know what I mean? Like how parents could treat their kids, you know what I mean? And maybe it might be that people that are a little bit younger than us that don't have kids yet, they see this movie and then you think, oh, this is how I need to treat my child if my child does come out as being trans and that sort of thing. So it's a fairy tale. I haven't seen The Love Victor. I know Nelson has his own thoughts about it. Like,
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't think he liked it. Did you like it?
I loved it. I mean, it actually gave, because it was from a Latino perspective too. Like, it's not like the all-American gay white boy. Like, it's a Latino family, and then they have their own issues too. And it's not, and the parents aren't as accepting of the gay culture. So it shows that, like, I loved it. I thought it was fabulous. It gave you a different perspective on, because it seems like Simon kind of had it easy. Like, everyone was like, okay, we love you, this Victor, it's like there's people in his life that are not accepting, like his grandfather. Like, they touch on that. Like, I just thought it was more realistic than Simon.
See, I'll watch that. I think I'll probably pull that up here at some point. And so, because I love Simon, and I like that cheesy bit. And I watched Artemis Fowl this week on Disney Plus. Like, okay, like, so the thing is, it's not like I'm like looking for like perfect entertainment. And I also watched that other one, the other one about Percy Jackson. Like, okay, like, so it's Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, or whatever. Disney Plus. I've been watching some hella young adult like movies lately, just because like they're not as heavy, and like I can watch them right before I go to sleep. So I watch half before I sleep to it, and then the next morning like finish it, And they're like feel good movies. It's like, I can deal with this right now because the world is crumbling down. So it's something. Okay, let's move on over to what you're bitching. What did you hate this week that you watched, or what are you so not into, or somebody, a character, something?
I don't know. What am I bitching about? I'm bitching about, okay. I mean, I'm probably gonna get flack on this, but the whole recreation of Splash Mountain, I think it's dumb. Like,
okay, they've been doing it.
I get it. That song, that movie was not good, but it's like kids today don't know that. They go for the ride. They go for these characters that we were brought up with. Like, it's a novelty. Like, I understand that they want to rebrand it, but I think people are going a little bit too far about it.
I wonder if there's a way Disney can show actively that they've learned from it and they've swapped it up. You know what I mean? Because
they did, because they used to have, so I don't know if you remember, in the original story, he gets in Tar. And so there was this whole section of the Tar Boy where he was like kind of like blackface. So that used to be on the ride, but then they changed it and he's stuck in honey instead of tar. So they've shown it already that they understood that that's not a good thing.
I think some of the other things though is because there's stereotypes though too. Is that there's characterizations of like of the bad, what are they, the weasels or wolves or whatever they are, like
the fox.
There's like a whole, there's an issue there that they're showing with it. So I think that some things, it can change, and maybe they should like live with some of it somewhere else. I think it's easy for them. Number one, if they've been planning it, if Disney's been planning the whole swap up of what that ride is and making it the frog princess, whatever. So here I have two different views about this, because I kind of feel you on one and the other side. It is great that now they're going to revamp this ride. They're going to give Frog Princess something. They don't have to do a heavy investment in it. That they're going to probably re-edit how you get on and probably do more. They're going to beef it up. You know what I mean? They're going to beef up the ride. They'll beef up the experience. I think all the new stuff is going to be kind of cool. They do to incorporate some of that. Apparently, the ride has to take place from the point of the end when they get married. It's like that magical something or the other. But I think the other thing that they could have done here, because the big problem with the whole with that whole story, with this whole song itself, I mean, it's the characterization. You know what I mean? It's these people are the bear is a little bit lazy and dumb, and like, you know what I mean? Like there's and it's direct correlation off of what characters were. But what they could have done is even retell the story and
right.
get black writers in there and make this right. You know what I mean? Like get a black round table going. Do what you did with Lion King, where nobody watched the live version of Lion King, but the soundtrack to that and the things that they let Beyonce do with making sure that it was authentic, that they were really paying homage to the to Africa and like and making it right. You know what I mean? Like kind of backpedaling on what Lion King was, because Lion King is amazing and it has so much cultural iconography and that sort of a thing, and then kind of giving it like a real place to breathe and some putting black people in the room. It was the same thing like when right now with Pose. Pose is so phenomenal because they have black and trans people in the room telling the story. You know what I mean? Like, who are able to retell the story of, we know that Paris is Burning is an amazing, amazing, movie and everything. But the fallout from the girls who were actually in the movie, the women and the girls who were in those balls who didn't see any of the money. They didn't see any of the success. You got the #1 movie at the Cannes Film Festival. This bitch is still on the beat over here down in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like she's not like. So those girls didn't get to see monetary success from the documentary that they did, and it was a white woman who came into their space and took the story and told their story. And what makes Pose so amazing is that you have now trans and black writers who are telling their stories and they're elaborating on the stories that, you know what I mean? Like, so there's a knowledge there. So maybe that's what they could have done with Song of the South, is like hand it to, some up and comers and people who know what's going on with, with black excellence and black characters and that sort of thing. So give it to them and let them do something with it. I think there's just a little
they did redo the movie, but it wasn't Disney that redid it, and it was all it was called The Fox and not The Fox and the Hound, the Brer Rabbit. Rabbit. And it was all black actors, like black director and all that. So, but it wasn't Disney that did it. So it's weird that they remade the movie, but it wasn't them doing it.
Yeah, so it needs to be Disney that needs to take that kind of like harness. It's your property, bro. You know
but
what
I mean, like Zippity Doodah, that's like what you think of when you think of Disney. Like that song is so institutional, I feel. Like, like I don't know any songs from The Princess and the Frog. And then I'm like, what about Beauty and the Beast? They don't have a ride yet. Aladdin only has a ride at Walt Disney World. And like they have a Frozen log ride at Epcot, which is amazing. And I feel like they should have just, I don't know. I'm looking at like what the kids
I think their thing is going to be it's representation of a black princess, and they need to put it somewhere. It needs to happen because we got Cinderella's castle, we got Snow White's castle. I mean, like these bitches got castles. You gonna give me a log ride? Fine. You know what I mean? Like there is a little bit of something like that.
It is right next to New Orleans Square, so it fits right in.
It does. It makes sense right there. That we're gonna almost there. Like you hear that all the time in like the park, and that's from Princess and the Frog. So, but that's the thing is, it's like so there is a little bit of that, like. Because I think that way a lot about like a lot of these newer ones. I mean, Let It Go was an anomaly, but you know what I mean. Like even like Moana has her one song. I am standing in the water. Something about water. I don't know the words. I'm too old. Anyways, okay. So there was something I was going to bitch about, and I know that it's okay. Wait, where's my notes? It was something that's bothering me this week. Besides them not having everything done. Oh, you weren't around last week. I want to make sure that Jeff Taylor is fired. Oh no, my show notes. It's so funny. Okay. Oh, okay. So here's something that I think that has just been a little bit like blech. Okay. So that show Floor is Lava. Have you been watching this on Netflix?
I haven't watched it.
Okay. I was into it on like the first like couple episodes. And then there is this flight attendant episode. Look for it.
Is it a game show?
You get there's a flight attendant. Like there's okay. So each episode on this Floor is Lava. Like the concept is great. It's very much of like when you were a little kid, you would try to jump from one couch to the next.
Yeah.
Floor is Lava. Well, they do that, and you get to climb like the curtains, and you can climb like the walls and swing on chandeliers. Okay, so they have like so they get into these episodes, and then all of a sudden they get this one bitch who's a drag queen / flight attendant. So each team of people, like it's like today we're gonna have the doctors versus the nurses versus this. And so it's three members on a team. And so this day they have flight attendants, you know, who are versus like basketball players and something else. And so the flight attendants is these two girls who are damn tough, and this one guy who's a drag queen. And the whole entire time, so this is gonna make people want to watch it. That's what we're talking about it. He's like, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that." And like, he takes his time. He goes back to the front. Like, he is the biggest bitch the whole entire time. He wastes all of his time. It's the reason why, like, they, you know, they sit there and they take so, like, the whole thing is that you have to get all three people to the end of the course. And if you don't get three people, if you get one person, then they take that person's time, and that's how they add it up. And so if you only get two people done, if the next team gets three, well, they win. It takes forever. Gunther, I was crawling out of my skin. I was mad at the show. I was mad at the show at this point. And they were like, so that was like the thing that I was like bitching about. So it wasn't anything like too deep, but it was like a thing this week. So, anyway, yeah. So,
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, you watch it. You'll find it fun because it's so stupid and it's mindless. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It kind of fits in the range of like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Like it's one of those.
Okay.
It's like one of those kind of like shows that literally, here's the room, here's the obstacle course. You
go for it.
Yeah, go for it, and then you can do things like we should do it. You, me, and Nelson, we should go play this. Except for Nelson's not very tall, so it might be hard for him. But because there's like a 4-foot gap in between things, so they have to like jump. Yeah, it's a little crazy, and like there's like water cannons, so they're over lava, and it looks like they put like something gelatinous over like the top of like like a film on top of the water, you know. And then they also have like stuff like the water's just constantly moving, so it's kind of foaming. But they have all like a desk and like couches and like so that's all sitting up out of it. And so you have to jump from one thing to the next, and you can pull like levers and like oh, there's a rope on this wall. What happens if we like let it go? And then like a cargo net will all of a sudden appear. It's like an aid for you to do it. And so however way that you can get from the one point of the wall to the other opening is how you can do it. So there's no rules. And it's funny because they make it so dramatic when somebody does fall in the water. Because if you fall in the water, you're done. It's like you hit lava. So even if like half your body's in the water, just let yourself go because like that part of your body's burned off. And then it's so melodramatic because it's like it'll be like, oh, ah! Like they like go under the water. I want to know how deep is this room? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like how are they doing these moments? Because the water has to be deep. If they're really like jumping like 7 feet in the air to get onto something, they have to be able to like not hit the floor when they hit the ground. It's fun. It's a fun show, but there's just this flight attendant who made me so angry this week. So I'm bitching about. So that's what I'm bitching about. Well, I think that's kind of like all of our shows today. So we did like a full hour. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know that Drag Race is on tonight, so I know that anybody who's on the East Coast right now is probably just tuning. They're already tuned in an hour. on some race. Loving the new format of the Drag Race that they're kind of putting the untucked in the episode, which doesn't make it so disjointed, and so we actually care about it still. And I don't know. I think Juju beat the hopefully it's a good thing and not something tragic. So
yes,
we'll see. Yeah, exactly. So okay, so people, if you guys have been tuning in, please follow Gunther on IG and TikTok at Gunther Vanderpump. This bitch has almost 1,500 followers over on TikTok. I am coming for you though, because I have been like really, I've been putting my TikToks out there. I've been a little bit political. People are getting into it, darling. So I've been having fun with it. You can find me as Dangilo on TikTok. Okay, so I also want to remind everybody one more time about that Homestar Virtual Blue Ribbon Extravaganza that's happening this week. It ends tomorrow. Please do check out home-start.org. You guys can find links there onto what is available for the silent auction. There's also an opportunity on there to win $100 with no buy-in. All you have to do is this is something you can do actually, Mr. Gunther, is there's a quest. It's a scavenger hunt online, and I want to say it's like 12 questions, maybe 10 questions, and all the information is on the Homestart website. So they make you kind of go through the website and find out who, was Homestart started. So it's all Googleable stuff. You can win $100 if you get it in tomorrow, I think by 6.
Wow.
So anyways, so check that out. It's over there at homestart-start.org. It is for the children here in San Diego, and so it's a good investment into the future for everybody over here. Please do make sure that you get subscribed to Binge Bitches on YouTube, because that's where we live right now. Oh, this is a little something too for you guys. So this is a little tidbit. So we're gonna be going audio pretty soon. So, and we're gonna be creating this, which is gonna be going on the audio platform and be on iTunes, available on Stitcher. Find everything else. We're getting our feeds together, our hosting platform, and my equipment is starting to come through, and we don't really need much, but we'll be taking this over to audio form because as the world opens up, probably in like 6 months, when the world is better in 6 months or something. But you can listen to us while you're cleaning your house, while you're driving around, while you're swimming your pool, and so just talking shit about all kinds of stupid shit. Okay, so next week there's still not another new Housewives. So we will find other stuff to talk about what we're binging. So keep up with it. I told you guys watch Disclosure, watch Sword on Apple Plus. Mr. Gunther was telling you all to watch some Love Victor. That's on Hulu, correct?
Yes.
And so, yeah, Hulu is Love Victor. 13 Reasons Why is on Netflix. Yes. And so watch those things. We will let you know what we're doing next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Binge Bitches Talks Pop Culture Grab Bag. Thank you so much, Mr. Gunther.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good night from the lower level.
From the lower level.
Good night.